It's with a great pleasure to have live right here on London Greek Radio after so many years. Local media singer, star, actor, presenter, entertainer. Need I say more? The one and only Peter Andre.
Now you forgot to say coffee drinker.
Listen. That was coming because look,
Suvla eater.
I said before we start this interview, because you're like me. I know you're addicted to coffee like me, and I won't do anything without having a coffee. But you know what? I've topped you. Look, you see this? I got two.
I've got Nero. I'm going full Cypriot style.
You know, so I drink this one. How many you had today? This is probably my 10th.
You know what? This is an interesting thing, right? So I've always gone on and on and on about how much coffee I love. And I used to go, when I go to Cyprus, I usually say to them, I go in and I say driblo, and I feel so cool when I say that, right? Now I can't. Just in the last year, I've like cut down by half. So I have a single shot in the morning and a single shot about 2, 3 in the afternoon. That's it. If I'm doing a show at night, I'll have a quick shot before I go on stage because then I'm pumped. It used to be back in the early days, it used to be Zivania. Now it's coffee.
Yeah, you
It
can't.
used to be shots. No, I don't drink anymore. I stopped.
Stop completely.
About 10 years now. Yeah, 10 years. 10, 11, maybe even more.
Wow.
No,
It was about 10 years. I mean, the last time I interviewed you was probably when you came out of the jungle from I'm a Celebrity. That's the last time we actually.
and that's bad on my part, because I've got all my cousins in North London and they're like, I really want to see them all. And it's one of those weird things. Have you ever done this where you've got your cousins in North London? I live in Surrey. So I've got my cousins in North London and I'm more likely to see them when I'm in Cyprus than I am when I'm in England. and the funny thing is what the Greeks do, which I love, my cousins do it too. Rea, are you in Cyprus? Which is a huge place. But yet when they're an hour away, they're not like, Rea, are you at home? That's the weird thing. I love that though. I love it.
We all end up meeting in Cyprus. I know you love Cyprus a lot as well. I know you go there quite often.
Of course.
You do keep the Greek roots alive, which I love about you. And the reason why we're going to interview you as well, I mean, 30 years in the business.
It's mad, isn't it? 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So the funny thing was that this year I also turned 50, right? And so when I would go, my manager, Claire, I've been with her for nearly 30 years now. She says to me, right, we've got to go on and talk about you being 50. I said, no, we absolutely do not. We need to go on and talk about 30 years celebration because 30 sounds better than 50. So I'm sticking with that one. And it's great. It just happens to be in the same year.
You look about 30, so you haven't aged.
I love you, man. Thank you. You know what? My dad.
No, look at you, full set of hair, up still. Have you still got the six pack or is that gone?
Hibernating. They look like, mate, you know what it is? My dad, I don't know what it is with dad, but he's 89 and half his hair is still black. And his sister, my Thea, she used to say to him all the time, Resava, stop dyeing your hair. And he said, I'm not dyeing my hair. Just give it time. Anyway, and now he's it's more white than it is black, but he's still got sort of this salt and pepper look on his hair at 89. So I think, thankfully, I might have taken from his genetics.
He's still got hair.
Yeah, he's full head of hair.
I mean, look, right, before we go forward of 30 years,
yeah.
I'm going to take it back to the 90s.
90s, yeah.
1993, is that about right? 93?
So I got signed up in 1990 in Australia, and this is before I came to England. So just for people that don't know, I mean, everyone that hopefully listens to this show, any of them that know me will know that I'm Greek. But what they might not know is I was born in England, not in Australia. So I'm actually British by birth and citizenship. And strangely enough, I'm not even an Aussie citizen, and I don't even have an Aussie passport, which is really strange because I've lived there a lot of my life. But in 1990 in Australia, I got signed up and I was touring with Madonna and I toured with Bobby Brown. The young generation will have no idea who Bobby Brown is. My prerogative was by Britney Spears. You know what I mean? But we remember the original. And so, yeah, for me, it all started there. And in 1994, I came here. And I was told I have to record the album for Australia, not for the UK. And then I was like, well, I'm determined. So when I was writing, I was like thinking, what's going to work here? Because I really wanted to make it because this was my original home, you know?
Yeah. So essentially, you're British, Australian, Greek, born in the UK.
I am, I am a salada.
Daladan. Me
Absolutely, in every single shape, with everything thrown in on top. Yeah.
I mean, look, first, there's no point in me telling everyone who Peter Andre is over here. That's everyone knows who you are. And we know that the biggest hit that you still play, to be honest, I still play Mysterious Girl in clubs right now. And it still sounds fresh and people still dance to it. And especially those geezers in the back, you know, that make out they're not dancing to it. They're still bopping to it.
You know, it's funny, right? When we do these shows, which we're going to talk about in a minute, I get they come down, the guys, and I said, "Your wife dragged you here, didn't you?" And they go, "Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did." And I said, "Look, don't worry. If at the end of tonight you don't feel like you were part of this, I'll hold my hands up." And generally, what happens is by the end, the guys are up and they're dancing and everything. But at the start, they don't want to be seen, and it's a beautiful thing because I joke with them about it. You know, I understand. I understand what it's like. You know, my wife wants to go and see someone. My sister, for example, she's obsessed with Ricky Martin. I'm like, does your husband not?
Ricky, he's still living La Vita like, wow. How many years ago was that?
I know my sister's obsessed with him because he's still massive in South America. And I just said, you know, I just said, don't say that in front of your husband. She's like, yeah, but I love Ricky Martin. I said, yeah, just keep it on the low. You know, you don't need to say I love him. You don't need to do that.
So is that how
Class.
is that how you feel when the misses are dragging their men to see your shows? That's how you're feeling, isn't it?
Well, I feel that it's like I totally understand the guy because of my sister. And so I'm kind of like, listen, I totally get it. But don't worry, I'm harmless. I'm married, I've got kids. They're like, yeah, we know.
Let's say it as it is. It's not actually the missus dragging it to see you. It's the man dragging the missus to see you. There's a lot of people
Well,
that are making out that they're not massive fans and don't love your song, but they do.
well, it's nice when the end comes and you see them all like singing and dancing to it. That's the best part because listen, like you guys, man, I mean, I was so influenced as a kid by Michael Jackson. I was influenced by all these artists. But one of the artists that really influenced me was one of our fellow Cypriots, George Michael. And what it was about him was his songs were so classy and he had such a beautiful presence. And I remember meeting him one night and I was at the World Music Awards. No, it was the European Music Awards in 1996, I think. And I was performing that night, and so was George Michael. And I was like really wanted to meet him. And I remember him being really tall, standing next to me. And he looked down at me and he said, he said, this is the first time I've ever shared a stage with a fellow Cypriot. And those words touched me, right? And instead of me going, oh wow, George, yeah, what that's fantastic, man. I'm such a fan. I froze and I went, I went, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? And then I turned back because I was nervous. So I turned back and I was just looking straight on stage, thinking, man, George Michael just spoke to me. And I regretted it for years. And I remember going to one of his concerts, sitting next to his dad, and we're having a good old chat. And I told him the story. I said, listen, I've got to see him again to explain to him that I was not arrogant. I literally was a huge fan. So, what I'm saying, we were talking about the things before, is when you meet people or when someone meets people, depending on how they feel about that person, they kind of say odd things. It's happened to me before. And sometimes when I meet these guys and the girls, and I'll put them on the spot and go, your wife dragged you here, didn't you? You'll be surprised at the things they say. They go, mate, I didn't want to come. I've got to be honest. And I'm like, come on, you're going to get into this. It's brilliant.
Look, your music, obviously, a lot of people know your music. You've had some massive, massive hits all over the world. So the music industry for you has been at its top form for many, many years. Then you've gone into many other things, TV, presenting, selling out arenas, selling out everywhere. And you've got some new stuff coming very, very soon, which we're going to talk about.
Yes. Yeah. So So basically, so this show that I'm putting together, we've only done 5 of them, and one of them is in High Wycombe, and that's why I thought it would be really good if we chatted, because I think High Wycombe is the closest for the North London crowd to go to.
It's only about 20 minutes, half an hour. It's about half an
Yeah.
hour.
So I thought this would be really good if a lot of the Greeks want to come down if they want to. And I'll tell you why, because the story, so this show I'm doing is not a concert, right? But it's not a sit down interview. It's something very unique. And I put it together for these 5 shows. And what it is almost like telling your life story, but through song, through sound. So let me give you an example. If I'm saying, and here I was in the playground being bullied at 6 years old, you'll hear through the system, you'll hear noises of bullies and noises of school teachers and then that sort of thing. It's done through sound. It's kind of hard to explain. And then I might turn around and go, and when I was 6 years old, I remember this song playing on the radio, and then the song will come on and I'll sing the song that I heard. So it could be anyone from Michael Jackson to Elvis or whatever, and the story. So it's uplifting because there's great live music, but also the stories will resonate a lot with the Greeks. That it will resonate so much, especially when I do my dad's fantastic Greek accent. It's fantastic, When I do all that, they're laughing their heads off. Yeah. Mate, and I promise you, my mum still spells my name Pida. Pida. I'm like, Mum, you gave birth to me. You can't even spell my name.
That's right.
And she spells it like that too.
So mine's even worse. Don't worry. Do you know what my passport says, right? My name is Andreas, and on my passport, they've actually put me down as Andrews, because that's how the Greeks over here, my parents, told
say it.
hospital, it's Andreas. What's his name? Andros. So
yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's one for you. Here's one for you. I was born 27th of February, 1973. But just recently, my cousin who lives in, he's in North London. I'm just trying to figure out. He used to live in Bush Hill area. I think he's moved from there now. My cousin sent me, he said, I've got this from mum and dad. It was a package of stuff that they left when they were here. And I opened it up and there was a passport of me at 10 years old.
Wow.
And I went, oh, wow. And the birth date was September the 27th, 1973. Now, all my life, I've been 27th of February, which means if I'm going to go by that passport, I'm technically still 49, which I'm very happy about. I rang Dad and Mum and I said, Dad, I found this passport and it's got a different date. I said, how did we get by with this passport? He said, well, I don't remember if it's February, September. I said, what's the difference? I said, Dad, there's a huge difference. I said, because my birthday is on my passport. He goes, well, just use whatever one you want. And oh my God, it's been the ongoing joke. It's been the ongoing thing in this house where I don't actually know how old I am, which is just brilliant. But yeah.
That would say you're then.
Sorry?
Just say you're 49. You're not 50.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. To the Greeks, I'm 49. To everyone else, I'm 50.
Wow. Right. Let's start talking about the 30 years. As we said, it's not a concert. It's, from what I've understood, it's an immersive, digital, up-close, intimate show with Peter Andre that you're doing. You've already done, is it 2 you've done already? We
did 2. They were completely packed. It was amazing. Obviously, we have picked High Wycombe. We didn't know that King's coronation was going to be on the same day, but that's earlier in the day. So we're saying to people, don't let that put you off. Come down, because it's, especially for me, the Greeks will get it so much because they will understand a lot of these stories and they will relate to a lot of the stories. And it's a fun show. It is emotional, but it's also very uplifting. So I think, yeah, if you guys want to come down, this is the one to come and see.
The show is on the 6th of May, and it's in High Wycombe, as at the Swan Theatre.
Yeah, let me just triple check.
I'm going to triple check. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So come down. If you wanna light a barbecue out the back and we can have a suvla, I'm in for that before the show. I'm just saying, if anyone,
you could come around mine. I'll do
I love that.
And then we'll go straight to the show.
You know when the Greeks in Cyprus, when they close off the whole village, the whole street, 3 or 4 streets, and everyone's invited, and they have those big rows of Subla. I still live for that. I'm like, why can't we bring that here? And I remember why we can't bring that here. It's because the weather's not great.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to
No,
happen.
no.
So we're going to talk a bit about these shows. Obviously, it's you've been with Can Group for so many years now since you started.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely person, Claire. And you've just partnered up with Renovi Studios as well to create this series of real life and digital events to celebrate your 30 years in the business. So let's talk about a bit about the event. What can people expect? I know you said that it's very, it's very this, very that.
So the whole digital side of it is quite simple. There's NFTs. When I mention NFTs to a lot of people, they're like, well, what's an NFT? But NFTs are, I mean, they're huge in America. They're like digital pieces of art. The difference with this is that if you buy an NFT from somewhere, usually you're buying a unique one-off digital piece of art.
Yeah.
What you do then, you can then sell that on, you can make a profit, you can do what you like. But we're not charging anyone for that. What we want to do, just as a little thank you to anyone that buys tickets, is everyone gets a free NFT. So everyone gets this free digital piece of art. Now, some people go, what am I going to do with that? But hold on to it. And at some point when this really comes up to speed like it is in America, I don't know if you ever saw those things where Snoop Dogg and Justin Bieber and all those guys were buying these bored NFTs and making like hundreds of thousands of dollars on them and selling them and all that. I'm not saying mine are going to go for anything like that.
Of course, of course they will. Look,
no. But what I will say is that
they're free, so you never know. In a year's time, they might be worth £1. You don't know.
You could sell them to someone else tomorrow if you wanted to for a tenner. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that they're really good to hold on to, because as time goes on, NFTs are going to get more and more popular. And so what we're offering is anyone that gets the ticket, they go onto the website and they claim it and they have it and they can do whatever they like with it. And it's just a little thank you from us to, for people that are coming. And that's done through Renovi, and they're specialists in this field. I mean, they know more about this stuff than me.
So there you go. Renovi Studios together with Can, 30 years. The next show, the 6th of May. And you can get tickets. Is it Peter? You've created a website as well specifically for this. It's peterandre30.com. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's www.peterandre30.com, and it'll just tell you what to do. Obviously, the first two are gone, so forget those. I need to tell Andy to put a gone on them because and if you don't do digital and you don't do websites like my dad, who's absolutely against it, he still wants me to use a fax machine. All I'm going to say is, although when he says it, sometimes I'm like, Dad, don't swear at me. No, but then when what I'm saying is, if you're not a digital minded person, get your kids to do it. It's brilliant. Get your kids to get the ticket.
Talking of kids, I mean, your kids at the moment are doing it very, very well in the industry as well, following in their father's footsteps as well. Mr. Junior is in the music industry at the moment, doing very, very well as well.
Yeah, so he's such a good kid, right? So he knows quite a bit of Greek. You'll be surprised. He knows the basics. Yayamu, Bapumu, Sagapopoli, Imegala, Sisegala. He knows all that stuff, which is good, And I took him to the studios with me when I was recording, because I'm putting together a new album for later this year, and then we'll probably do a concert tour after that. I was taking him to the studio in London because I know he's got an ear for it, and I said, son, get in the booth. Just get in the booth. I want everyone to hear what you do. And he did, and everyone's jaw just dropped because he sings, he raps, he's really good. But every parent's going to say that. But then all of a sudden, the guys there at the studio said, look, we'd love to sign him. And I said, okay, well, let's talk. And he's got to be 16. He can't sign before 16 because that's what my dad said about me. And we got him signed, and then Columbia Records came on board, and he's got a great future ahead of him, but he's focused. And the most important thing I said to him is always stay kind, stay humble. I said, because he said, were you always kind? Were you always humble? I said, no, there were times when I was an idiot. I said, but I don't want you to be like that, because I said, the whole point of parents is to teach their kids to do the good things they do and not the bad things that they did, not the silly things that they
well.
And so he's really focused, he's really humble. Every time, I've got my strict rules. When people come in or they meet people, you don't just, if they say, how are you? You don't just go good. You know how some people just say good? You say, good, thank you. How are you? Little simple things that people go, oh, you're so well mannered. And I thrive on those sorts of things with them. And yeah, he's doing well. My daughter's 15 and don't I know it?
Well, she's in the fashion industry at the moment, I can see as well.
She's doing a GCS. Oh, I can never say that right. But anyway, she's doing her exams, and I've said, yeah, I said to her, look, you can do the odd picture here and there in your spare time, but your focus is your schoolwork because after that you can do anything. So, but we're all similar. I mean, I'm sure you're like that with your kids. We're all similar. It's in our we were brought up very strict. What, sorry?
In the bloodstream.
Yeah, because our parents were strict and generations going back were more and more strict. So we're trying to kind of be a bit cool with our kids, but also putting what our parents told us to do.
Times have changed as well. It's not like they used to be. It's not like we used to be in those days. We'd get away with a lot more. A lot more is happening across the world right now. So we've got to be a bit more strict, but not to look too uncool.
Absolutely. I mean, so Dad, I've got to tell you this. I don't know why, but this has just reminded me of something that Dad did. I went to see them recently in Australia, and I took him an Alexa, right? His first words for me goes, Alexa donomandisce vale di manasu. Put your mum's name, right? I said, Dad, I can't put my mum's name on it. Her name's Alexa. Oh, Emporo, and Valis Alexa, Ulimera, Mapgain Duty. So I put it on. I said, Dad, we can't change it. Anyway, I'd say, Alexa, remind Dad to take his tablets. Alexa, do this. Alexa, do that. And he turned around to me. He said, Maetsiena Masha de Olivera. So I just said, Dad, forget it. I unplugged it and gave it to my sister. And this is the way when I'm telling the stories to the audience, they really get involved, especially if people are from the Mediterranean or Italy, Spain, where they relate because their parents are so similar. So yeah, but I just thought I'd tell you that about how times have changed and we're trying to be cool, but our parents don't want us to be cool. Just our kids want us to be.
Not at all. Because obviously you still go to see your mum and dad, and they mother you, and then a face and a kiss and a baby. One of those. It's never gonna stop. It's the Greek mentality of so many years ago.
Well, it's funny because I mean, this is the really weird thing, right? So when I met Emily and her family, I remember going into her home, and her mum was like a Greek mum. She's like, and it was food and it was this, and I was like, wow. Yeah, but it's nice, and because Emily's family's like that, it means our kids. I mean, I'm very much a feeder, very, very much. What's wrong with you? What do you mean you can't eat all your food? What happened? Where like Emily's like, they'll regulate. If they're not hungry, they'll eat tomorrow, and I'm like, no, something's wrong. Something's happened. They're not eating. You know what it's like. So great.
How's married life?
Beautiful. Listen, my mum and dad have been married 67. This year will be 68 years. And I said to Dad, how have you done it? He goes, well, I have 2 ears. That was his way of saying it. But yeah, like honestly, I believe in, look, things don't always work out. We know that in life, things don't always work out. But I believe in that sort of, married for 50, 60, 70, it's always the dream. It doesn't always happen, of course, but yeah.
Of course. There we go. I know you're a very family man as well. It's not, I mean, you got 4 kids now.
I have changed so many nappies, mate. I honestly, I don't even know. I lose count sometimes, and it's funny because I'm now obviously getting older. I'm kind of thinking, all right, I've had enough kids now. Enough's enough, And then Emily's like, yeah, but I think one more could be. And then I'm starting to think about those years of screaming
all over again.
Yeah, because I'm a hands-on dad, so you know, going back to a lot previous generations, you must know it wasn't quite like that, you know. And so I'm kind of more new school, and we split things and we do things together, and it's kind of nice, but to go through it again, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
But what choice do we guys have? If your wife says to you, I want a child, we kind of go,
Okay.
okay. What, no? No? But whereas if the guy goes, I want a kid, the wife's gonna go, yeah, I don't think so.
Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Forget about it. Not gonna.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I got a headache.
All right. Let's talk about what you're doing right now as well. I know you've done the series as well, the Andres, and you're doing a bit of presenting here and there as well. And you're in Greece, the musical. You're absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, but the best thing I'm doing for me is so yeah, I'll do an album. So I haven't done one for years. And
Yeah.
the reason I haven't done an album for years was because I got a little bit scared about, I thought, you know what, why do something that might fail? You know, you're riding a great wave. We still headline gigs, we still do concerts. Why? But then I thought, no, it's celebrating 30 years. I've got to do it. But the best thing that's happening is when I was younger, I said to Dad, I'm going to go into film when I'm into my 40s. And he's like, you know, thinking, yeah, all right, you're going to be a singer and then you're going to. Well, what happened about 3 years ago is I did a short film in America and never got released in the UK. And the short film, which I executively produced as well, and the short film ended up being nominated for Best Short Film at the Hollywood Film Festival, Manhattan Film Festival. And I also got nominated for Best Actor in a Short Film. And I thought, right, great. So now I know this is exactly the new direction I want to go. So I've just finished doing a feature film here in the UK. Hilarious. It's a brilliant, funny film. It'll come out later this year. And, you know, it's aiming for theatrical release, but we're looking at Netflix, Amazon, all of that stuff, which is great. But in that film, I've written a song for that film. And that's what got me back thinking, okay, you got to start doing music again. So I've written a song for the film. That'll come out probably in the summer. And then I'll do an album after that. And I'm doing it not because I'm expecting to be a number one selling artist like the 90s. But what I am doing it for is because it means I can then tour. I can do proper concerts again, which I haven't done for ages. So it's all fun.
The last one I saw was the one you done at the O2, which was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, you were there that night.
I was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to give you my number after this. We've got to keep in touch, man, because you know, I'm a bit rubbish on my phone, but it'd be nice to keep in touch. So if there's anything you ever, you know, you or your family ever want to come to or anything, just let me know. Be nice.
I am going to come to your next show. I'm going to come to the High Wycombe show. I'm going to come to it.
Yeah, I'd love you to see. I'd love you to experience the other. You know a lot about the North London Greeks, but a lot of people don't know about what happened to us when we went to Australia. A lot of the Greeks don't know what happened to a lot of the Cypriots that went to Oz. It was a very different time. So it's a really good story. And like I said, done with songs that you guys will remember, songs that'll be like, oh my God, this is a blast from the past. And those songs will come into play at stages of my life of, you know, from the day I won the Michael Jackson dance competition to, you know, it's great fun, great fun.
That you've taken a lot of inspiration from the Michael Jackson. I saw a recent post that you're performing at the Palladium.
Yeah, this is amazing. So I did Thriller in the West End the year before last. Now, just before COVID, I did Thriller. I was a special guest for 2 weeks headlining the Thriller in the West End. And the company have come to me and said, look, we're getting a Philharmonic Orchestra and we're playing the Palladium. Do you want to headline singing all of the classics of Michael Jackson, but with an orchestra? I was like, oh my God. Yeah, because I know it's not my show, but I'm so honored to be asked to well, he was my hero, you know, growing up, musical hero. So that's another thing. That's May the 13th. God, I'm bombarding you all with different dates, but you know, let's come to High Wycombe first, and if you like that,
go to both of them.
Come to the Palladium.
So the first one we got, we're going to say it again, 6th of May. It's at High Wycombe, and it's at the Swan Theatre, and then you'll be at the Palladium as well, doing the Michael Jackson style performance.
Man, that's going to be great. And it's less focused on the dancing and more about the songs. You know, so when we did Thriller in the West End, yeah, we did the full routines and we'll do some, but it's more about the music and done with an orchestra. It's just going to be phenomenal. So please come down to that. You guys will love it.
That sounds great. So if they want to get their tickets right now for the Peter Andre 30-year celebration, 6th of May, get down there, not far from London. So it's the closest one you're going to go to. Head over to peterandre30.com right now and get your tickets. And we might do something special. I know you said that you want, because you love the Greek community so much as well, you want to give them a few tickets. So we're going to do
100%.
We're going to do that in just a bit. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to let you do the questions. So make it a bit more.
Just so you know, I'd give all the tickets to the Greek community, but I'm not sure Renovi will let me. No, I love it. I'd love that. I would love you guys to come down and experience it.
Let's do it anyway. She's like, yeah, we're giving away all the tickets. Renovi, Mr. Andy, don't worry about it. Peter's just done it.
Poor Andy's not going to be happy.
On the black end. What you did? Peter Andre with us live right here on London Greek Radio. Pleasure having Pete with us here. We did want him in the studios. Well, we will have him here. We will have him in the studio in the
100%. I'm coming. I'm so sorry, guys.
He's a busy man. But, you know, even on Zoom, it's great to have you. So what we're going to do is, I know you want to give away some tickets away for this amazing show at High Wycombe. We're going to do something a bit interesting. We're going to give some questions to our listeners, and I'm going to give them out during the week. So it's Friday that we're airing the interview live right here, and throughout the week, through next week, I'm going to give away some tickets to the show, exclusive right here. So Pete, go on, let's do a few questions. What can we ask them that they won't know?
Well, I may have said something in this interview, so if they were listening, they might know this, but I'm going to say it. So where was I born?
Okay, there you go. First question. Where was Peter Andre born? There's the question. That's question one.
Who was my biggest musical influence?
There you go. Question two. I know these. I'm coming. I've won. Right. So,
I'm trying to think now.
Who was Peter Andre's musical influence? If you're listening to this interview as well, we're going to put this on the socials as well. You're going to see the interview on the socials, so you can go back to it as well and listen. So there you go. There's question two. Let's do a third question as well right here. I'm going to do a question at the end, so I'm going to do a question at the end as well, so that people will know. But let's do one more question from Pete.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think.
What's his favorite drink? Coffee. No, we know that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, what's my favorite Greek food?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You didn't tell me though.
I know the answer. I have to tell you after, don't I?
Yeah, you got text me after. So there you go. What is Peter Andre's favorite Greek food? There you go. That's 3 questions. Well, let's do one more, and I will do the last question on the last part.
Okay. If I am 50 years old, when I was 6 years old, which famous star died and was all over the news, all over the world?
Let's do that question as well. So when Pete was 6 years old,
yeah.
Go on, I'll let you do that. Go on. Yeah.
So if I'm 50,
you're 50.
You can work out when I was born. When I was 6 years old, a famous person died, and it was news all over the world. Who was it?
So there you go. A famous person died all over the world. Who was it? That's what we want to know. So there you go.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one.
That's a hard one, but it's a good one. Right. Okay. I'm going to do the last question anyway. So I'm going to do the last question. But
all right.
Those are exclusive tickets that we're going to give away, courtesy of Peter Andre himself, Can and Renovi, to see the amazing show, 6th of May, High Wycombe at the Swan Theatre. So we're giving exclusive right here on London Greek Radio your chance to be there and see Pete up close and personal and see the amazing different show like you've never seen before. So so happy.
And it's very simple. That's the whole beauty of it. It's so simple, but it's so effective. So I can't wait for you guys to come and see it.
Since our listeners are live, I want you to sing a rendition of Mysterious Girl a cappella. Let's do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's already done it.
Why don't you do it, man? You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
If I do,
God, you put me on the spot now, haven't you? Can I come back to you on that? Oh my God. Okay, you put me on the spot. Let me just think. Let me see if I've got the music here. I'll just sing it over the music. That'll be great. Hold on.
right, Pete, I've got less than a minute left on this Zoom.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Sorry, I don't speak English, Greek only. And so the song, if you come to the shows on the 6th of May, you will see this song performed beautifully. But at the moment, my voice, I don't know what happened. I have to go get my kids from school. I'm avoiding at all costs, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah.
I've always been shy when someone puts me on the spot. Don't worry, come to the show and I'll do more than that. I promise.
So we're back right here on London Greek Radio. Did you just say you look great? Was that what
I said you look great, bro. I have to be honest. I don't know if people are looking at you, but I'm telling you.
I think you need to go Specsavers.
I
But look, I'm like I'm about people know should I say my age? Well, I'm 43, right? I'm 40. You're 49 or 50, however you want to put it.
however, my passport decides.
Whatever passport you want to use. So you're looking great. You're looking absolutely fantastic for your age right now. So you still look like you did 5 years ago.
Come on.
You do.
Come on. Hey, I'll accept that though. I'll take it. Hey, you know what? You know what's really nice actually is that I've got so many cousins in North London and friends that I haven't seen for so long. And in a way, it's kind of nice that I'm doing this because if they're listening, which I hope they are, then it's our way of sort of being in the same place together again. I miss them all.
Well, so listen, we've got to. I know you're a busy man, but we will organise for you to come down live in the studio and
100%.
all your cousins to come down here as well.
Mate, you need.
We'll put the souvlan on. We'll make some coffee.
How big's your car park?
It's all right. Well, don't worry. We've got a few studios here. We'll put everyone in here. Don't worry. Don't worry about that.
Do you know? I think we counted all my first cousins, all my uncles, aunties' first cousins, and I think it came to something like I don't know, something ridiculous, like nearly 100. I mean, it's crazy. There's so many of us, mad.
How are your brothers as well? I know Danny, Chris. Danny was actually with me on the radio actually probably a few years ago.
Okay.
With his missus, he done some candles.
Yeah, right. He's great. He lives about 2 hours away from me, and Chris lives in Cyprus.
Yeah.
My sister Debbie and mum and dad live in Australia, and my brother Michael lives in sort of Ipswich way. So it is hard because we don't see each other as much, but we're on the phone all the time. I mean, I speak to dad and mum every single day.
Cool. I mean, also, Mike was also he started his hand at DJing at one point as well. He's DJing in a lot of clubs across the UK and abroad.
So Mike used to be in Australia. He used to win so many competitions for DJing, like scratching, transforming. He was insane. And then when he came to England, he sort of stopped that and he was just doing DJing in clubs. But he sort of stopped the transforming and the scratching and all that sort of stuff. And then he decided to go into the business my dad did, which is being a barber. And he's an insane barber. I love him cutting my hair. Like he knows my hair. He's like, gives me the slap. Gives me the odd slap on the back of the head. There, face this way, face that way. No, he's great. And he's a great barber. So yeah, barber DJ. That's kind of cool, right? That's a bit like
barber DJ.
No, who was it in the film? Who did it as a joke in the film? You don't mess with the Zohan.
Yes.
Tell Mike all the time. I go, Zohan. Yeah, it's great.
I know you tried to avoid it before, but we're going to do this. I want our Greek listeners to hear. Your Greek is very good, so we're going to talk a bit of Greek, and then
okay,
then we're going to do the acapella. You're not getting away with it. No artist ever gets away without doing an acapella. It just
okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's start with the Greek talk first.
Go on. Let's see. Well,
give me a sentence that you want me to say in Greek. Oh my God, I'm going to try and say this right.
What would say?
Okay.
Go on.
Well, why don't I just say how I feel? Sazaga Popoli. η Κύπρο εν στην καρδιά μου.
Ο Andreas Michaelides.
Ο παπάς μου είναι από... Ο Ανδρέας Μιχαήλης είναι legend. I don't know the word legend in Greeks. Ο παπάς μου από την Κερίνια, η μάνα μου από την Αγκαστίνα, which is right between Nicosia and Famagusta. Right in the middle, I think. Οι γονείς μου μένουν στην Αυστραλία και εγώ είμαι 19 χρονών. There you go. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty good Greek, right?
Well, it's a bit of a lie at the end, but it's great, that is.
Oh, well, you know, listen. How many Greeks do you know that exaggerate?
Oh,
Exactly. So I rest my case.
Italian, it's exaggeration. There is a like, you know, no word about it.
That's so true. Oh yeah, the big exaggeration. I love it though. I love it. My brother Chris tells unbelievable stories that way. He gives me the best stories. I'm like, yes, brother.
Well, right, so
there were 35 police officers. Yeah, anyway, sorry, carry on.
We went out and, you know, there was like, we got to the door and there was like 100 police cars came outside.
100 police cars. And they locked me up in Mexico. I was in Mexico for 3 weeks. So 3 weeks.
I was in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's bad. I love it. That's about it with the Greek. I mean, listen, I understand it fully. So if someone's having a conversation with me, I understand it. But then I break into Gringlish. I'll do the Greek and then I'll break the words into English. Because some of the words, you know, if you think some of the words, obviously, you've got the Greek from Greece and the Cypriot from Cyprus. And some Greeks from Cyprus speak with the Greek. So I then go, oh, you know, if I say this word and it's not quite right, then my brain switches to English. But I can understand the whole thing. Of course, if there's something I don't want to understand, I go, sorry, I don't understand.
I mean, yeah, it's, you know, the communication, the easiest way to do it is just for any Greek word, just put agi at the end of it, and you might be in, you know, like nero, neraki, you know.
Neraki. For the Greeks, yeah, that's right. Or you just do the hand gestures, you know, everything is like.
I don't want to do the other phrases because we are on radio, so if I do.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do that off it.
You know, it's so nice, right? Because obviously I love my culture, and I love that I can bring that in the home. And Emily and her family, they're so loving of the Greek culture, and they're actually a very similar family. So it's really funny because we have this mix of cultures that just really works and blends. And you know, my wife Emily can listen to me talking to my mum on the phone, full in Greek, because I only speak to mum in Greek. And at the end, I'll say, did you understand? She said everything. She understands. She listens. Wow. She can hear it all. Which means now that's a problem for me.
Yeah, because you can't say nothing. And
I can't say anything now. No, she's great. But what I mean is they all pick up on the words because we do it all the time. And we have a thing where the kids always say hadere. The kids, Junior and Princess, always text me hadere when dinner's, you know, as if it's not enough I'm making them dinner. They're saying hadere like as if I've got to hurry up. And then the funniest bit is when people see a message from them, they go, what does Haid Re mean? Haid Re. I said, no, hadere. I said, oh, don't worry about it. But we have our own communication that's in Greek and English. It's very funny.
I do love that you still keep the Greekness alive with you, even talking to your parents, even with the kids, you know, keeping the Greekness alive. It's fantastic to hear.
No, thank you, man. Do you know what I'd love to do one day? Really, I would love to do is it was one of mum's dreams. And we tried to do this in the 90s, is do something for the sick children in Cyprus. We tried to do a show, but the promoters were like, I can't remember who the promoters were. I don't think they were Cypriot, but we were trying to do this show and give all the money to for the sick children. Yeah. And mum said, I really want you to do this. And for whatever reason, the promoters were like, we can't do that. You know, we've got to make, you know, we can't just give all the stuff away. So it never ended up happening, but it's still something on my list. It's still something I would like to do, you know.
We'll see what we can do with that. We'll see.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do something, even if it's, you know, I don't know, something. We got to put our heads together.
We'll work it out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're trying to get away with it, but it's not going to happen. You know, I want an exclusive here. You're live on London Greek Radio. The whole of the Greek community, including your cousins and whole family across the world, because they can actually listen to us in Australia. You know what? You bought your mum.
Oh, they can, huh?
Of course. Alexa, play London Greek Radio. That's what they're going to do.
Μα έτσι είναι να μάθετε όλη μέρα.
Yeah, talk about Alexa. No, you know, it's the only name that you're not going to get in trouble for. You see, you know, if like certain people are at home and say, Alexa, 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 the only thing that you're going to get away with.
Well, not my dad. He told me, I told you, he told me to change it to my mum's name. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Gandudi. Oh my God.
Alexa.
Oh my God, I've got to tell you this just before we go. I've got to tell you this. My mum, so in Australia, one day, my mum said to my brother Danny, Re Danny, Dominica bename, en exo. Danny said, what? And she goes, Dominica bename, en exo. Danny goes, minicab? He goes, Mum, they don't do minicabs in Australia. That's in England. Rea fuzlalosu en name pasto telefono en exo. So Danny goes, what is Mum talking about? And he got on the phone and it was a girl called Dominica. And I will never forget that because only my mum would say Dominica and exo. Literally, that's another ongoing thing. Whenever we hear the name Dominica, like I heard that you lives here, bro. Anyway.
Is outside. She's lucky he didn't say anything else.
Listen, I've got a better idea for you. Rather than doing this on the radio, but listen, when you come to the show in High Wycombe, I've got a better idea for you. Bring your recording thing and I'll do something really nice because I'll have the musician there. We'll do something beautiful, nice little piece on the piano for you. How's that? Come on. You love me, brother. Come on.
All right. I'll tell you what. Yeah, we'll do that.
Hey. Love you, mate. No. Just this once, huh?
Do not do it. Do not.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it. But you got to come. We've got to work out the times with Andy. Make sure you come at a time I can do it. Oh. And we'll do it. We'll do it. And we'll have a cafe. We'll have a quick cafe.
We will do. Pete, thank you so much. We could talk for hours, as you can
see. Oh, I love it. I'm just getting in the mood now.
This is it. We could talk for hours. I know you're a busy man as well. So once again, if you want to get your tickets to see this amazing, amazing show, it's on the 6th of May at the High Wycombe Swan Theatre. Head over to peterandre30.com to get your tickets right now. And it's going to be something you've never seen before. So forget what you've normally seen from Pete, that he's done the arena tours with all of that. It's going to be something very different, very immersive, up close, personal, intimate. And head over right now, get your tickets. We are giving away tickets. You've heard the questions that Pete's given you as well. And I'm going to give him a few questions as well. So thanks to you guys for giving away some tickets to our lovely listeners. I will definitely be there on the show. So I'll come and see you up close and personal. Andy, you can do that recording. So great. Definitely. And you've got my number now because I've sent it on email. And please give my love to your family. And thank you to everyone listening, because you know what? It's you've got a piece of my heart. There's no doubt about that. So it's so nice to be able to do this. But it's been too long and I won't let it be that long next time. Yeah, definitely. Next time we're going to have you in, and this is a promise. We're going to have you live in the studio. Yeah, let's do it for sure. Pete, thanks so much for being with us right here on LGR. Much appreciated. You too, brother. Take care, man. On the 6th of May, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Andre. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, it's Peter Andre here and you're listening to Andreas Michaelides, the legend, the Greek god, the wonderful Greek man on LGR, London Greek Radio. And you know what? If you're going to listen to this station, this is the man you've got to listen to. Wow. That's a great, okay. That's fantastic, that one. That's just going to be played every day now. That's the problem. I love that. Thank you, man. Thanks so much, eh? Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the show. I'll see you at the 6th. Take care. Bye, mate. Bye.